Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the worst reviews ever. Got Casey Fred in here, amazing, and your boy Sophisticated Jerk. So yeah, the movie we got today is Bloodline Killer. So let me go ahead and pull this up. It's in a horror film genre. Shout out to Tubi on this one. So Bloodline Killer is a 2024 American slasher film directed by Ante Nokovich and written by Anthony and James. Skipping the last name. I'm not about to butcher it today. I ain't even playing today. So, all right. So the plot on this is Bloodline Killer is a terrifying horror thriller that follows Maura Cole, who endeavors to rebuild her shattered life after the murder of her family at the hands of her deranged and obsessed cousin. Oh, okay. So it was her cousin. Shit. All right. Directors and producers directed by Ante Nokovich, James Gaudicio, Anthony, Ante again, DJ Dodd, Shawnee Smith, and Rob Simmons. And that was the producers on the film. So the cast on this movie, Shawnee Smith as Maura Cole, Karen Manning as Sam Marin, Drew as Michael Cole, James as Connor Cole, Montana Gills as Lisa, Crash Nokovich as Detective Fink, Adam Shippey as Damien, Mafia as Skeleton, and Bruce Stern as Dr. Lucian. But all right, let me go ahead and pull the trailer up real quick. Then we'll go ahead and give our ratings. I'm actually kind of, anxious to see what y'all gonna rate this one. I got an idea what Casey Fred, but Amazing might be she might throw us off a little bit. Let me go ahead and play this.
Miss Mora, I'm Detective Cypher. Look, I know you've been through a lot tonight. Help me find the person that killed your husband.
The killer is still at large.
I miss Dad.
We're not meant to suffer alone, so keep going.
Still trying to get to the bottom of what happened. You and your sons deserve a better life. Skeleton is dead.
You never found his body.
There is a killer on the loose, folks.
You think it's him, don't you? Let's move.
Do you know what it feels like to be stalked? To be the prey?
No, I don't.
I hope you never do.
Open the door! You're down on the ground!
Please don't do this. I want my sons!
Yeah, trailers be making movies look magnificent, boy. But all right. We're gonna start with Amazing on this one. Amazing, what's your rating?
I'm going with a 5.
All right, so you're in between decent and average on a flat 5.
Yep.
Casey Fred.
This was like a bad spade hand. It was a 2 and a possible.
Okay. So you got it in between trash and terrible. I'm gonna give it a 5.2. So originally I was like, I'm gonna put it at a 5, but I had to bump it up a little bit, and I'll break it down within our questions. So Amazing, I'm gonna let you go first.
let's see. So my rating was a 5. So just like a brief overview of the movie, because I don't want to. I know I have many squirrel moments in life. So going from like the overall theme when we're talking about basically what the movie is the obsessed cousin stalks Mora, which is the wife. So her husband is killed at the very beginning. He's having like a heart to heart with one of his sons, Connor. Connor kind of thinks the dad's joking. The dad goes out and ends up being butchered by his wife's deranged cousin, basically. He gets away and nobody can find the deranged cousin. A year later, they're doing like this big horror movie on the skeleton and it's based off of them. I guess it would be I guess that would be the storyline of it. I get confused in this area. But I don't think, unless I completely missed it, they did not give enough details on like why is this cousin even really deranged again. So I might have missed it, but I did not understand what his weird obsession with his cousin was. Like it showed these little bits and pieces of when they were kids with the deranged cousin's little sister who's trying to control him, and she's a nurse and drugging him and keeping him chained up because she thinks she can save the world of him, apparently. But I was still like, why? What is going on here? Like, why did you kill the whole family in the first place? So, first of all, is anybody going to touch on that? Did you guys, before I go on, or was it just me? I don't want to say it was complete lost.
No, they didn't. I mean, they briefly touched on it. So I mean, because that was the issue I had, man, with mine. Was like, yeah, they didn't really give too much information, but in a couple segments, it was just like it looked from like the flashbacks that she kind of talked her cousin into getting the father, because like she was like abused or something. So yeah. I think he did that, and then it kind of messed him up after probably doing that act where that's what pushed him over the edge. So that's how he was like, hey, you know what? I'm coming to get you because, that was like the start from what I take. They didn't really cover it too much, but it was just like the flashbacks. Yeah, because it was weird. And so I think, how they kept on showing the little dreams and stuff. I think the little girl was the sister.
Yep.
So it's like,
that for sure. But I was just like, I was like, okay, did I miss how this came about? Like, I think they did a terrible job at that. What scenes, actor or actress's performance stuck out? I honestly don't even think anybody stood out as like a great performance, which was kind of disappointing. Knowing that my boy Crybaby was in there. Like, I didn't think he had
Tyrese.
Tears streaming down. I don't even think, and I like him in general. I mean, I think he did a fine job, but I wouldn't have, to me, he is a good actor. But I don't even think his like performance stuck out in any way. As did anybody else's. I think to me it was all kind of like average. A couple of the scenes that I did think, one scene particularly that I kind of found funny was when the boys, so after the father dies, I think Connor was living with them anyway. So this is like the adult son, the failure to launch son. I think he had already been in the house. Michael seemed like he had went off, but then came back after the father was killed. So it's the mom and the two boys in the house at the same time. Well, mom goes out to coffee. So Connor's a hot mess the whole time, which understandable. Michael's kind of trying to move on with his life. They go to coffee, and here comes Lisa, Michael's like ex chick, which I love that the mom loved her so much, and they're kind of like bringing this, like they're trying to get them back together. The part that I thought was like, and the whole family loves Lisa, which I just like that. I thought that was like a good little, at least some good stuff in the movie. But then they ended up killing. Then they ended up killing Lisa. So I was like, well, they brought her in just for everybody to love her, and then she's the only one I think, like, really from like the main ones aside from the sister who legit get killed. But the scene that I did think was kind of funny and crazy too is when those two little bad boys break into the house when Lisa and Michael are sleeping, and like Michael's kind of freaked out about it, goes down. There's like these two bad A kids in the house in like terror masks, and Lisa's like, they're just kids. Those kids would have been taken out.
Put their hands on them.
I just thought that was crazy when she was like, they're just kids. And I'm like, they legit broke into the house with serial killer masks on. So I thought that was it was funny. That scene stuck out to me. I also thought the movie reminded me very much of like Hallmark meets horror movie combined, because I felt like that, like I said, like the Lisa family situation was very Hallmarkish, how they all loved each other as a cute little couple, but there's this complete like serial killer slasher in town. So that's why I thought it was like the mix was kind of amusing to me. If I was the director or producer of the movie, what would I change or do differently? I would let the audience know why the cousin was deranged, because I feel like that was like nobody knew what was going on. So I felt like that was the type of movie, like you could watch the whole thing or you could watch bits and pieces and you'd be in the exact same boat as everybody else, like very confused. I liked the thought of the movie, like here's like this deranged cousin that's going after somebody. But the execution was terrible. Would I recommend the movie to anybody? Maybe just to see if they could figure out like what I couldn't, and just feel like, I don't know what was happening with that movie. You can try to figure it out. Let me know if I missed it. But in general, probably not.
All right, I'll go next, and then we'll kick it off to Fred. So my rating was a 5.2. And the reason why I gave it a 5.2, because I was, I could go up to a 6, because I thought it was pretty funny also. Because I think they had a good concept, but like what Amazing was saying, it kind of jumped all over the place a little bit, where they didn't. I think the storyline with the cousin, definitely, like you said, they should have elaborated on that a little bit. And then even because they mentioned the female, his sister, where they were like, man, she got a name change. And, they didn't even like dig into that really, where, I wish they would have like found it out, like did some history, like, damn, okay, this is his sister, and okay, man, they disappeared, but they just like said it and then moved on, which I thought that, the storyline was actually pretty interesting with the memory. So I wish they would have like, definitely elaborate on it. But like I said, they had a good plot and storyline. But like you said, Amazing, the execution was just a little sloppy. Then, like you said, I think the middle part drew out a little bit, because Lisa, I got pushback for you. Like, she definitely should have got smoked, because I like how the brother threw her under the bus. He was like, hey man, well, you're a gun. She was sleeping with everybody.
Oh, that was hilarious.
He's like, Lisa was from the streets.
That part actually really did make me start laughing, because I was like, just because I felt like that was a very real statement, like one brother would probably make to a friend or another brother. He
was hating. He was all salty and jaded. He was like, so he said that was one of the scenes that stuck out. And then the other one was when my man, when that lady was in Lowe's and my man was just throwing it on her. He was like, listen, I could come over there. And so I thought that was funny, because my man was putting it on heavy and she wasn't having it. So I was like, okay, she's a little awkward. She's off. And I honestly think like that was the pivot where I think in the movie, if she would have slept with that dude, she would have probably told on her brother, and it would have saved everybody's lives. So I thought that, because she would have got that built up out of her system, she'd be like, oh, hell no, my brother's tripping. And then I did the killer. I thought it was kind of funny because he was like a bootleg Michael Myers and like Jason. Because they made the concept the same. Like he was almost damn near indestructible, even though she was like giving him the shots in the neck in the basement. I'm like, man, where the hell this dude work out at? Because my man was brolic. Because even like he done been shot like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, I know he ain't got no special powers because his homeboy's cousin, but my man wouldn't even drop. And then he's picking everybody up and stuff. I'm like, okay, this dude, like, would he be in the basement working out all day? Was she injected with steroids? So, it was just a lot of like, I think they went overboard with like his strength and shit. They should have made him like a little more clumsy and stuff, but I think they did the like whole Jason and Michael Myers, like they can't be stopped. So it's like, I think if they would have toned that down a little bit, it would have been more, I say, in line with the plot. Because yeah, my man that got 5 slugs and he's still like maneuvering like he got some special powers and shit. It's like, yeah, I didn't write that in the script where he was like, like at least with Jason, like he arose. So it's like, all right, I understand why he's like brolic, but this one it was like, nah, he was just a crazy cousin and my man is just like Diesel. Like she was giving him them Barry Bonds injections. so those were like the major scenes that like I think stuck out. So if I was the director and the producer of this movie, what would I change? Definitely elaborate more on the connection with the cousins, possibly show like where they fell off the grid, more details, like an investigation on into that part. And then also, like I said in the beginning, I think that she should have slept with the guy at the store at Lowe's because he was putting it on heavy. He had the charm up there. I think it would have changed the whole storyline. She would be like, man, you know what? Damn that. I got me a man now. Fuck my brother. I'm tired of watching him. And would I recommend this to anyone? I would, man. Because I thought it was kind of funny, man. I thought it was for like a lower budget film. I thought it was I enjoyed it, man. I watched it all the way through. So I was like, okay. Like I said, just a couple places missed in the wrong places, and I think if they would have executed a little better, it could have got up higher. But I do like the attempt. I thought it was hilarious. All right, over to you, Casey, Fred.
When you playing spades and stuff, and people say, so yeah, I got 2 in a possible, and then they ask you, is it a strong possible? No, man. We about to get set, and that's exactly how this movie was for me. This movie was whacked from the floor up all the way down to the bottom. I felt sorry for Tyrese. I felt like, okay, bro, obviously those checks from Fast and Furious ain't coming in quick enough, so you got,
He said Tyrese was like, look, man, we are making Fast and Furious 58, man. I got to cash out.
Oh, man. So, and his name was Cyphers. And most of the time, these horror films is always the black guy that gets killed. And so when it came to his time, I'm thinking to myself, okay, he just got killed. They put the axe on him. They did all this stuff to him. She put the pillow. She unshot the gun. All this other stuff. Okay, he's down for the count. And then somehow a miraculous miracle takes place. His buddy comes over and he says, man, you still alive? You okay? Yeah, man. Man, we need to get you to the hospital. No, man, they're not going to make it through the night. We just need to go. So instead of him going to the hospital like he's supposed to, he gets in this police vehicle. They go on this chase to find Skeleton. And at the end, he has enough strength to get out the car, run into the woods with the police officer chasing him, firing off his gun. Bang, bang, bang.
Hold on.
Bang.
Was that Tyrese?
That was Tyrese and the other dude. That was both of them together.
Man, because I had to rewind it back. I'm like, okay.
Man. That's man. This movie had me just cracking up. Because first of all, Skeleton's sister was Sam, and she cracked me up because she kept talking to herself. Now, and then kept talking to him and said, Mom put me in charge to take care of you. And she always knew where he was or was finding him and then taking him back to her her place and stuff. Oh, I had, people didn't show up for work, but I got pork chops for us. We going something like that. She acting like they're just living a normal life. And I'm like, your brother is a serial killer, okay? Turn him in. Why are you letting this happen? And then the serial killer, his thing of choice is the axe, okay? It's always the axe. But for some strange reason, these people, every time he killed somebody, they still had a little bit more fight in them. I didn't understand that either, because if any of us get hit with the axe, we're one and done. That's it. There's no coming back from that, And one of the most, the plot was just, I know is, and you did a great job, amazing, as far as trying to explain how this trash movie came together. And I really appreciate that for all the listening audience. But I'm just saying I have to agree with Jerk. I did not understand the background. And if they would just start all over, which is basically something I would definitely have the directors and producers do, just scratch it and start all over and start from the very beginning and then build your way up to a climax. That would have been 10 times better. But all these flashbacks, but you never gave us any key points or key references to be able to go back to be able to understand his psyche or why he was really doing what he was doing, because he never talked, he never explained himself. And anybody else that was talking or listening to him, all of a sudden, all they did was get the axe. He would, every once in a while, the skeleton would just turn his head like that or something like that. I don't know if that meant hurry up and get out the way, the axe was coming. I don't know what it was, but the bottom line of it is I have to agree with Jerk. I really think he did have some superpowers or something, because he did not go down for nothing. He had the famous Undertaker, chokehold on the neck that just lifted people up every single time. And then he gets thrown out the window after this big fight scene where everybody is hitting him. Everybody is coming at him. The whole family, Connor, all of them is coming at him. And all of a sudden he goes out the window. He's the first one to pop up. And then that's how he kills old boy's girlfriend. And I said to myself, I was just like you, amazing. Out of all the people, that's the one you got to kill. But, hey, it is what it is. And then he kept going. But I just assumed, like, hey, he killed his sister. His sister never came back after that last time. So I was just like, well, I guess that was all his family. So after that, it was just nobody else had a chance. So it was just a crazy movie. And it was only 90 minutes. And I said to myself, nope, I'm not eating nachos. I'm not being... I'm just waiting for this movie to get over. And when I thought that Tyrese had died and he came back, I said, well, he must be drinking the same juice the killer's drinking, because nobody comes back after getting shot like that with the pillow. The pillow, like, she did it just like that. And I was like, it just went through. I'm okay. Let's go. We got to go ahead and, let them know the skeleton's on the way. And I'm just like, something's wrong with this movie. Something was wrong with this movie. And I don't know. I kind of agree with both of you in the simple fact that none of the actors really stood out, except really for the mom, because, who writes letters? Seriously. This dude is supposed to be locked up or whatever. You writing letters to this dude? I never understood that. I wish they would have gave more detailed information as far as that. And then the husband kept the letters, and then the sons find out, and then of course they're reading them and stuff like that. So all of that, I wish they would have just brought more and more into it, so that way you kind of had clarity, and that would have made it a bigger and better build up. And so at the end of the movie, he's been shot several times, but at the end, you still see his face as if he was still alive. And I'm thinking to myself, did they do that on purpose to make it feel like there's going to be another one behind that? He's
coming back.
Tubi's like master of 10 movies later.
I'm watching all of them.
I'm not watching none of them. In fact, do I recommend this to anybody? No. In fact, even if it was at the dollar show, I wouldn't even give a quarter for this movie. I'm trying to would I change the movie? I would definitely change it. I would tell them scrap it and start all over, because at the end of the day, there should be a history lesson. There should be, why did this guy become the serial killer? And it should be a build-up, because the flashbacks did not give any point of reference, and it did not help us not one bit, but just leave us all confused. And after listening to both of you, I literally kind of want to go from a 2 to the 1, because right now I'm not feeling any support as far as making this even higher than what it is. And I know I'm kind of a little biased. I don't really like horror films, but at the end of the day, I at least want the movie to make sense. And this one did not feel that way. I mean, it did not feel that way at all, because at the end of the day, he wasn't talking. He was just using the axe to do the killing. So we never really understood the whole purpose and the reason why, and what was his aftermath. What was his purpose? I mean, and to me, the rest of the family is still alive. I mean, the dad got killed, but the mom is still alive. The two brothers are still alive. So as far as I'm concerned, you killed everybody else, but they're still there. So it almost feels like this got to be a number 2. But anyway, I would leave it right there, because like
No, I think the one the one son that had the scar on his face, Cole or whatever. I think he did good acting. I like this role, man. But all right, Wally, let me for the rating, I gave it a 5.2 in the average territory. Amazing gave it a 5. Casey Fred gave it a 2, but now at 1. What's your rating, Wally?
A 5. And look, putting a 3.
Okay. Wally got it at terrible and bad, Wally. In between terrible and bad. All right, Wally, go ahead, do your breakdown.
So just catching the tail end of what Casey Fred was saying. Yeah, this story it was just a horrible piece of shit. Like literally. Like, I'm so serious. Like I'm watching it. I'm literally sitting there watching it, and I'm like, okay, there's the flashbacks. All right, flashbacks. Okay, trying to piece it together. Okay, now I'm just watching. I'm trying to figure out how this is all connected, why he's targeting these people. And it's like, okay. So no drawback history, no understanding of how this is all linked or how this is all being played out, or why he's always so close to the mother so fondly, or however it is, or why he's always targeting that particular family and why he's trying to murder almost everyone in that particular family. So yeah, very lukewarm experience of a horror movie. I mean, literally lukewarm as fuck. I don't know what more to say. Honestly,
lukewarm is comforting.
No, it's not.
This was not comforting. This is not comforting. Ladies and gentlemen, you got 2 sedated people up here that literally gave this a 5. No. Fuck no. This deserved to be thrown in the garbage and rewritten and reprocessed. At best, if anything, like literally, like I'm just cutting straight to the. If I was the director, the producer, what the frick I would change? Look, let's just scrap it all, rip it, shred it to pieces. Because the moment we started the movie, you literally showing like bits and clips, like there was supposed to be history in the makings of this shit. I'm like, okay, so where did this all pieced up? Because I'm over here like, none of this shit add up. None yet. And then to top it all off, it's like the way they're piecing like the little news clips and information like that, you would think the moment someone were to see that face in that skeleton, everyone would have been notified, call the police, and motherfucking run for the hills. No. You just saw the person just come with a mask and it's like, okay, it's around Halloween time. Okay, look, Joker, get the freak out the store, and then next thing you know, click, you get your neck break. Like, all right, look, the movie was just horrible. Scrap it, destroy it, repiece it, redesign it, rewrite it, and then sell it as a freaking TV series. How about that?
Y'all
Hey,
tripping.
I finally figured out what my funniest part was he gets out, he finally realized where he is at this house or whatever that he's looking at. And it's the old lady across the street. And she says, "What are you doing here?" "I'm about to call the police." And he turns around, he looks at her, and he starts walking. "Don't you come to me. Don't you come over here. What you doing?" And the next thing you know, it phases out, but you know she's about to die. And you would think she would run, she would take off, she would leave. Old lady is just
Scream.
like,
I was like,
she was
that
the best
probably
Karen
the worst.
ever. And I was just dying laughing. I was like, okay, you about to die for real. Let's go.
I got to go up a little bit now that I'm thinking about this.
Oh Lord, hell no.
Because first of all, man, like my boy was this man, he was cock diesel. So he just walked around, had the world's shittiest mask on. You know that, and then he had like what was that little doll back in the day where they had the horror movie Chucky? He had the Chucky coveralls on. So he don't whoop the whole family's ass. Man, I'm telling you, man. It was just funny, man. And then the guy in the beginning, I'm telling you, that was where I had to give it some props because my man was like, "Look, man, I could come on over there." So yeah, I think those pieces together, I might have to go up a little bit, man, like a 5.5. I can't do the 6, but so what about you, Amazing? You going up, down? You keeping your score?
I'm gonna keep my score because again, I thought the it was a good idea, but a horrid execution. I mean, it was so fragmented. The one other thing I thought just to mention, I did think it was pretty amusing as well. Is this was a small town, right? Like they made it like very small town feel. And I was thinking in my head, like the other thing that's so funny funny, but not, that town would have been shut down if there was like any sort of murder, but they like have like 2 bodies they find and everybody's still getting ready for Halloween. So I did think that was kind of funny too. Cause I was like, oh God, like people nowadays, right? Like there's like one person that they don't even know what they did yet. And they like cut off the whole neighborhood. Like nobody leave your house till we get this figured out. And I'm like, you found bodies all over your small little Hallmark town and y'all are still prepping for Halloween. So, but I thought that was crazy. But yeah, I'm going to stick with my 5. I thought the idea was there. Execution was terrible.
All right, Casey, Fred, you staying the same, going up, down?
Nah, I'm going back down. We need some drug tests around here because somebody gave y'all Mickey because there's no way. First of all, that town only had 50 people, so 5 of them was killed. So that is a serial killer. So as far as I'm concerned, that movie was just whack. I like I said,
Wowing.
There is no way. There is no way. There's no way. And this guy, you saw how he was built. There's no way he should have survived the bullets. There shouldn't have the fight that he went with the whole family. He was fighting everybody, and he was still acting like he wasn't going down. You never take me alive, But you never heard no. Even when he was getting hit, I mean, you would think you would hear some pain or something. I don't know what was up with this dude, but like I said, it wasn't natural. And yet at the same time, I mean, you would have thought they would have called another town at the end, would have had some more backup or whatever. And it just never happened. And like I said, the history as far as how did this guy become who he is was really never told. Why is it the axe was the choice of weapon? Never told. Why was he decided to wear a mask? It was never told. So at the end of the day, we need an origin movie, a precursor movie before this one, because as far as I was concerned, you can't keep going on with this family and not telling us what you're all about or where you came from or everything that you had to go through just to get up to this moment. And why is it that you don't talk? Did your tongue get cut off? I mean, is it that you're immune to pain because you fought everybody and yet at the same time you kept coming? So I was just like, nobody knew anything and they just threw us in the mix and just kind of rolled the dice. And that's why I said 2 and impossible. But I have to go back to a 1 because this didn't even make the 2. Now I think about it.
All right, let me get Wally in here. Wally, what, you gonna stay the same? Go up, down?
So agreeing with what Casey Fred is saying here.
Yeah,
Because
wow.
personally, this was just sort of like literally lackluster. Now I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, like I needed him to talk or anything, but definitely the story had to motherfucking make sense. Because again, you were going after this family. And there, you don't draw back nothing. It's like, oh, a female's talking to you. You took orders, and in the one moment that they somewhat acknowledge that he actually spoke once upon a time, he says, "I did this for you." What did you honestly did? Like, what was asked of you? Not, we don't know nothing. But yet, and then as far as him taking damage and all that. I mean, that's what always happens, right? With these little murderous movies, right? Oh, I got supernatural abilities. I can take pain like there is no one else. And then you just take bullets and it's like, oh, it's really nothing. You may as well say it's rubber bullets you're really taking at this point because that's all you're really taking. You ain't really taking no real bullets. But seriously, though, again, there's not even a big high connection. They never really cracked the case of the mother and why she keeps having these little psychiatric moments. No, and then constantly writing letters. Man, miss me.
All right.
This shit's trash.
I liked it, man. Sister was over there making lamb chops. Man had the coveralls on.
Oh,
The whole family's ass. Lisa got exposed. The brother was like, "Look, man, Lisa for the streets." While you were gone, he was like, she was so. I thought that scene was hilarious.
Oh man!
But all right, y'all, keep checking us out. Keep tuning in. Let us know who is right or wrong. Check out the movie Bloodline. But all right, y'all. Peace.
That's another thing. They call this thing what the Bloodline Killer?
Yeah.
What bloodline we talking about here?
I think the part 2 is gonna maybe that's why they did it like this one. Part 2 is gonna be on some.
It was ass. I don't want to see no part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, nothing.
He's gonna get one of the sons in part 2.
Get ready for it.
I ain't getting ready for nothing. I'm be like, oh, are we doing part 2? Yeah.
I'd rather watch Fast and Furious 12. Come on now, let's go with that one.
Because I think they're gonna finally kill him, and then I think Cole's gonna take the mantle. That's where the bloodline might tie in. Because he was like getting weird and shit. He had the scar. He just like tapped out of life. He's like, man, I'm just sitting in the house eating macaroni and cheese, pissing everybody off. So he's all going on that realm. Watch. They might need to help. Come get me to help write this.
I'm done. Well, if that's the case, just tell them, let's get this over with. Snipe her head off, so then we kill the whole thing. But please.
I did think one thing I also thought was a little weird, just since we're still here. I did think Connor and Maura almost, I was like, were couple-ish to me almost. Like if you'd have just seen them, I think they could have passed as husband and wife versus mom and son.
Wait, what?
Well, he's always there. He never left. He's got all these degrees, and he, like you said at the beginning, failure to launch. I mean, anybody else would have got kicked out at 18 and don't come back. But this guy here, and his brother was mad too. He was like, what are you bringing to the table, man? You need to just find you a girl and move on, But
well, you remember in the beginning, the brother was like, man, I would have stopped all this. At first, I was like, damn, that's kind of messed up to say it. But yeah, that brother he had some hands. He was actually whooping. Wasn't he? He did some swings. I was like, he probably would have stopped this shit. Yeah, because homeboy just got locked in a room. He was irrelevant. The other brother, he was fighting. He was getting thrown everywhere. So the dude was like beating him down, but he was slowing him up. So I was like, all right, yeah, he definitely would have held off a little bit. But all right, y'all, we out of here. Peace.
All right, peace.